Why doesn't Fernando Alonso really care about what the next generation of F1 fans think? Why doesn't Franco Colapinto believe that F2 fully prepares a driver for F1? And what did Nico Hulkenberg really think about his trophy being made out of Lego? Here is part 1 of summarising the interesting things that we learned from the Belgian F1 drivers press conference on Media Day. Starting off with Hulkenberg, he said that he got over 700 messages of support and feedback and responses off the back of him getting a podium, and it took him a solid week to go through it all. Also, by the point that we got to Silverstone, he wasn't really thinking about getting a podium at any point throughout his career. He kind of moved on from that, was just focused on driving, and he didn't care that the Silverstone trophy was made out of Lego. Speaking about Jonathan Wheatley, their new team principal, Hulkenberg said that Wheatley has come in and very quickly seen ways in which they can optimise their performance, and he has been able to make some little tweaks. Moving on to Colapinto, he said that he believes he has made some good progress. He said he started off pretty strong at Silverstone, it just didn't end up the way they were hoping. Currently, he's working on his performance with low fuel runs and new tyre runs. Also, he's trying to improve his performance in very high speed corners. Colapinto was also asked about MotoGP now racing in Buenos Aires, and he said it was great, but he would love it if Formula 1 could return there as well. Finally, he believes F2 doesn't fully prepare you for F1. For example, in F2 you're working with 2 or 3 engineers, whereas in F1 you're working with 30. Also, you have to be really good at communicating because you are working with such a massive team. And I got the idea that he was trying to say that there is a lot more pressure because there are over 1,000 people working on your car and you're trying to score points for them. Finally was Alonso. He said that 80% of their focus is on 2026 because they're not really anticipating much change up until the end of this season, and he imagines that for all of the drivers, minus the McLaren drivers, they're also focusing on 2026. Now, Alonso and Hulkenberg got asked a number of questions together, and one of the interesting ones was about advice for the younger drivers. Hulkenberg said that he didn't really have anything else to add, so here's what Alonso said. You have to be ready to give your best performance every day, but at the same time, you have to be ready to face criticism. Apart from this, there isn't really much advice that the drivers can give because all drivers approach multiple aspects very differently. However, he did also tag on that you have to be able to deal with the frustration of a driver dominating for multiple seasons, because that's going to happen. Now, there was a rather long question that I'm going to put on screen for some context because it kind of sets the scene for why the drivers responded in the way they did. In response to this question, Alonso said there isn't really a straightforward answer, and he doesn't really think that himself or Hulkenberg cared too much about what the next generation of F1 fans think, because essentially they're trying their best and the fans don't have a full picture of what's going on. Obviously they love their fans, but they're not really considering whether their fans realise how good or how bad they're driving. That's more for the team.